this process, we realized it's not about how much money you make, it's the way and the manner in which you make that money. The last few years, I'm doing over $250,000. The amount of people I'm paying and crew, travel, you know what I mean, expenses, looks great on paper. Is that sustainable for the next 20, 30 years? Am I gonna be a 50-year-old man taking, gigs? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably not. Real freedom, real financial freedom comes through assets like this. The stock market could crash. Real estate, people gonna need somewhere to live. I'm saying, like, even if the market could crash too, people are gonna still need somewhere to live. That is sustainable, lifelong, generational income.
What do you do for a living?
So layered. I have a company called My Fab Finance, where I'm a financial educator. But outside of that, I guess you could call me a financial influencer, public speaker, author. And then we purchased a company together, Club Lufa. So we have an e-commerce company, and now a real estate investor.
Okay.
So I was working in the nonprofit sector in New York. After the music blog didn't work out, I was like, let me use this degree and go back and get a job. And so ended up working at a nonprofit, and my finances were a mess from college and moving and everything, and moving with $500 in my bank account. And so I was doing a financial literacy event for the people who lived in the housing that I worked at. And I was sitting in there thinking like, okay, I put this event together for them, but I need this information too.
Right.
And that's when I just decided. That's when I just decided. I was like, you know what? I don't want to go into my 30s having bad credit and like poor finances.
Right.
And so I decided to start My Fab Finance to hold me accountable. It was a blog, and now it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
Producer, director, camera operator, and editor. I've been able to work with companies, BET, Netflix, Google, Stars.
Essence.
I'm
like, how do you forget your resume?
My Fab Finance. I was working on stuff when P. Diddy ran the city, in the marathon. I did more baby fat videos than I could even think of.
He shot Kendra Lamar videos, Yeah,
I think I've been over 100 music videos. Black Hippie, Kendrick Lamar. But 22, 27, there was some amazing moments and amazing projects, and it gives you the impression that you're in the right direction. And then Tonya came and was like, yo, this is great. You know what I mean? You're talented, what you're doing is great, but you ask yourself some really hard questions. So about that time, I was like, yo, I need to be a little bit more financially sustainable. You know what I mean? Like, this career is cool, but the relationship I'm in, this work relationship, I don't know if this really benefits me the way I always thought it did.
So y'all moved from two different, very, very expensive places to live. Mm-hmm. New York to LA. Mm-hmm.
LA to us was cost effective when we first moved.
For what you got in New York, LA was definitely, Like New York, $2,000 would get you a closet.
Right.
In LA, we were like, wow, we got a 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony and a view of palm trees and a parking spot. We were impressed.
LA was beautiful. You know what I mean? We got pregnant in LA, we had our first child.
So then what brings the move about from LA to here?
Yeah, I think we wanted to get involved in real estate in LA. We started looking at the multifamilies and what our money could buy. Right. And I was like, me being from the South, I'm not moving in this. I'm not spending almost $1 million on something I got to renovate. It's just not happening. That, and then we had our son, just kind of feeling alienated from family. Probably about 3 months after having my son, I knew I wanted to move back down south. I knew I didn't want to raise our son in Los Angeles, but I also knew I wanted to be closer to family, and then the pandemic hit. And the cost of living eventually, even though LA was more cost effective than New York, it still started to creep up and not make financial sense. Yeah. And that's where okay, top of the pandemic hit in March, everything shut down in March. We were like, let's move to Atlanta. Yeah, where she tore it down. Yeah. But this closet, when you walked in here, it was you saw to the end of the way.
It's a big room.
It's a good sized bedroom. Yeah, I think she was kind of wasn't sure of how we're gonna do it. We're just gonna put the cabinets back like they were. Okay. It's just that once we started getting in here, we realized there was a lot of water damage behind those cabinets. The floor had a lot of water damage. things were leaking, and the cabinets had a lot of issues, so we just decided to bring the cabinets out. Right.
Pandemic really was eye-opening. Like, film and TV was shut down. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an editor, so luckily, God willing, there was still some opportunities around, but for the most part, like, it was very eye-opening to see, like, this is not a sustainable option. And it comes in waves. You know, you're a freelancer, you're self-employed, like you're waiting on clients, you're waiting on checks, like you're trying to, you know what I mean? Like, so I've had some really great years and I've had some really nervous moments. We started discussing real estate, you know, like going over things with Erica, going over with people in our circle, and it was like, this is one of the most sustainable, realistic, long-term plays that I could ever think of being a part of.
Yeah.
You know, film and TV is very creative. You know, you're pitching, you're waiting for approval, you're hoping, waiting for emails. Real estate is like you go build and you charge. You know what I'm saying? It's like you assess, you go out, you evaluate, you assess. Does this make sense for me? What's my goal? Do I want to flip? Do I want to burn? Do I want to hold? Like, as long as you're going with a clear plan, like, and a clear focus, some good mentors, you know, and prepared, like, it's not hard to fail, but it's a lot harder to fail in some other industries.
For me, a lot of my money comes from being an influencer. It comes from working with brand partnerships. And there were two concerns. It was, what happens when brands wake up and decide to stop paying 6 to 8, like 6 figures for influencers, and they're like, this return on investment doesn't add up. And then I don't want to have to adjust my quality of life because of it. And then 2, also, like, being a financial educator, I understand the importance of building assets. I understand the importance of diversifying your income. And so I wanted something that was allowing us to diversify our income, but I'm big on being location independent. I like being able to get up and go, and I wanted something that also allowed us that freedom and flexibility. And so I saw real estate as being that option. And so going into this year, I knew I wanted to get involved in real estate, but then, you know, with a successful business year comes taxes. And I was busy catching up on taxes that I had kind of put off while things weren't as good. And I was like, there goes my down payment money. Like, we're not gonna be able to do it because there goes the down payment money. And Erica was like, there's ways. I was like, there's ways. She was like, there's ways. And she was like, yeah. And I think it was like that belief, that hope, and that like, no, this is how you do it. And we started looking. And when I tell you that thing happened so fast, it happened so fast that it makes me regret all the years that we didn't move on it.
What were some of those roadblocks that kept you off from doing it? So
I think for me, money. Like, I always assumed you had to have 20% down to buy an investment property. Like, and I was like, 20%? Like, we just bought our single family home, and while my business is successful, you know, we have overhead, we have a live-in nanny, we have other things. And I think for me, I always just like, if I don't have 20%, I can't get in.
Right. I think a poverty mindset. I think being from New York, you kind of see like it's locked in buildings. There's no extra space. You go to LA, it's similar. You know, you can get a 2-bed, 2-bath from LA for like 1.5 million, built in 1940. So that gives you an impression, like real estate, you know, moving to Atlanta, it's wide open. You immediately begin to see like, oh, like my geographic limitations have given me this false impression of what I can and can't do. You know, going from a freelancer mindset to an investor mindset, you know, and just understanding like, I don't need to go work 30 days at a day rate to save money and pay my bills and then put money aside for an investment property. Like, I don't have any homies sitting around talking about, who wanna get an investment property, dog? Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I got my job, I'm safe, I'm comfortable. So I think it's moving from a poverty mindset, being around a different group of people, for sure, and then understanding what's truly available and then why. Like, why is this available and why does this make sense?
I joke with my friends, like, I want to be rare. I want people to be like, what's Tonya been up to? Oh, she's making money, she's good over there. I want showing up to be an option because I know things are working for me in the background. And I'm just a true believer in mentorships. I'm a true believer in, I don't think there are certain shortcuts that make sense, and a shortcut such as joining a mastermind or a cohort like Erica's allows you to get around like-minded people who are also focused on that same goal. And now you're kind of not competing, but it's like a friendly, oh, so-and-so closed yesterday, we joined the program at the same time, like I gotta get it together. But also having someone that when those hard questions come up, you know you can ask, or they can at least get you started closer to the finish line than someone who's starting without that mentorship and that support.